get to the end, I rushed a lot. I'm sure you heard it. We're gonna blame that on the nerves. Let's just all accept that. But other than that, it wasn't horrible. I do think I took too many breaths. I really think that a lot of the ones that Mr. Height wrote in aren't necessary, especially once you get the tempo up there. So I don't know if you can hear that metronome. I don't want it to like take over. I like that. I was fast. I definitely rushed. We'll start at the beginning. Mezzo forte is a starting dynamic. I think that's fine. I feel like the first phrase or so, his markings are pretty intuitive. Starting mezzo forte, a little bit of swell at the end of the first line. I like a little space there. I don't want to breathe there, but I do want to separate that a little bit. I don't know if that's a weird like ink spot or if that B in the last note of the second measure is just weirdly printed or weirdly scanned. I like to have a little space between the C and the G right there. That's supposed to be like a breath mark, but it's not really a breath mark, is it? So let's not, I don't want to breathe there. Instead, I just want space. That's the appropriate mark. Just a little gap. Same thing here on the next one. I feel like just a little bit of space. And I feel like the tempo in this doesn't need to be super strict. I played it kind of straight when I played it through before, even though it got faster and faster because I let my nerves get the better of me. I think there should be some push and pull. And then he has the first breath written in here in the second measure of the third line. I really don't want to breathe there. I really want to make it all the way here. I just feel like it's more impressive if I can make it all the way there without breathing, as long as I can do so without rushing, without and without shortchanging the phrasing. So I'm gonna try it. Let's see what happens. Let's see if it's possible. Definitely possible. I'm always so jealous of string players and the way that they can prepare and plan and play these beautiful phrases without the spit or the air or any of that stuff getting in the way. I feel like I learn a lot listening to string players play, hearing what it's like to create a phrase without having to worry about the breath, but then bringing the breath into it. I'm gonna do that one more time. I'm gonna try to do it a little bit more with the dynamics this time. I don't feel like I want the beginning, dynamic-wise, to be the most exciting part of this one. I really feel like the most exciting moment in this should be that high F down here at the end of the third line from the end. So I think the beginning should be as chill as an etude like this, a study like this can be. So let me try that again. I didn't like how my high G popped out there, or not high G, that G, top of the staff G popped out in that one spot, but I can get that better with practice. And you know what? I don't think I like the decrescendo there. I think I would rather crescendo. I think I would rather maybe even start a bit softer and let that crescendo, but make it kind of like, so like this I'll keep, but I'll keep it kind of like chill. So it's just like mezzo forte plus, right? Not like a big deal. But this one, I think I want just a little bit of crescendo, just a little bit to keep the phrase going. And then this should be like the first big moment of the piece, of the study. And then same thing with this. I don't think this should be huge. I think this should still be like mezzo forte-ish, so that when we get a bit softer for the minor mode, it's a little more interesting. So let's try that. Yeah, I like that better. Let's keep going. Let's go into this minor section. I like this part a lot. So yeah, again with the breaths, I think I'm going to take out that one. Where is it? Right here. So I think I can, well, both of them actually. I feel like I can do, that's an accent. I feel like I can do the whole thing and go here. And I think it makes sense. Or I did take another breath, didn't I? And took like a little one here. So I think in a perfect world, I wouldn't take that one. That one I just wrote in with the parentheses. I think I would skip it and try and make it all the way to here, to the end of the phrase. But you never know. Yeah, so let's try that again. Let's see if I can do it all in one. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I have to take that breath. So that one's going to be important, but it's going to be a quick one. And also something I was thinking about as I was going is that here when I'm going to change color for a second. Here I have, it's only an eighth rest, right? So I can't really just take the huge, like perfect world, nice big breath. So I'm probably going to need that extra one. So let me try putting those two pieces together. The beginning, and then the minor section. That'll work okay. But I think to make the phrasing make sense, if I'm going to take this breath here, I need to put another one of those spaces there. Because I want it to match up. I want my breaths to feel like an intentional part of the music, an intentional part of the phrasing. Even though they're just necessary, right? So now let's work on the ending section. Let's change one more thing. I like it ending softer, but I don't really think it's piano. I think it's more mezzo piano plus. The softest part of this study, I think, is where that one piano's marked. I like that one right there. And I don't think I want to end any softer than that. I think it should end a bit louder than that, because it is like a little ending. It's a little moment. We're getting back to the major mode. So let's play this last third. So working backwards, I don't want to end it pianissimo. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, nothing against David Height, but it doesn't make sense to me to end it softer than the rest of it. This, I mean, that's a valid choice in other musical contexts, but here, that doesn't make sense to me. So let's not. I think it should decretion. Well, let me play the last line. I did like a little bit of one there, but I don't know that I like it. Let me try it again. I guess it relaxes a bit. I don't know that I would call it a decrescendo, but I certainly don't want to end it pianissimo. I think mezzo piano is fine. Mezzo piano plus. Yeah, so let's go back to the beginning of this section. I think this first crescendo here on the trill should be quite dramatic. I also don't think these 16ths should be too staccato. I don't think if a violinist were playing this, I don't think they'd be pits, right? I think they would, a pizzicato, I think they would be, I don't know string terminology, but like, you know, they kind of bounce the bow off the string and it's bump, 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 bump. Yep. I don't think a super dry staccato is the thing, is the idea. Because sometimes when the staccato is super duper short and separated, in a solo context, it's different in an ensemble. In a solo context, it can get really, it's like the staccato becomes the feature and not the notes and not the music. And I think you just want short-ish and separated. Or really separated more than short. So I personally focus more on putting the little gap of air, like that little millisecond, nanosecond, whatever it is, of silence between the note. I think about that more than the beginning and or end of the note. Well, I guess that is more like the end of the note. You want to end the note so you have that nice little gap. I'm looking now at the first full line of this, going here, and that breath. I don't remember if I played it or not. I don't think I'm playing that. I think I'm doing the space again, but I'm not taking the breath because I really just want to make sure I don't shortchange that note before. I am taking one here, I believe. I think that makes sense. Let me try it. No, I'm not. I'm not taking that. Maybe I'm not taking one at all until after that high F. Maybe it's only that one. Let me try it again. I'm going to go from the beginning of that section again. Yeah, and I am clipping that a bit to get a good breath in. Let's see. You can pretty much play it like this isn't here, right? You just play the quarter note and the breath kind of becomes that 16th note it's tied to. I don't think you need to beat yourself up about getting that tie perfectly placed and then getting the breath and then continuing on. Obviously, you have more freedom probably than I am giving myself. I practice with the metronome a lot, which is good. I wish all my students practice with the metronome more, but sometimes I think I practice with it too much to the point where I keep it too rigid. There is a time and a place for that where you want to keep it super strict, but I don't think this is one of those times or those places. I like the dynamics here. I don't know that I'm really thinking fortissimo on that high F, but it's definitely, I think, like the loudest moment. I don't want to overblow that F. And I do bring it down a little bit going into the E. Let's talk about that a little bit. So I struggle with those register changes. I don't know if it's me, my instrument. When I was a younger student, like say around 13, 14, 8th grade or so, I remember my clarinet teacher had been teaching me how to like half hole to make those leaps. So like, you know, instead of just picking your finger up off that first hole there that kind of functions as our second register key, we kind of like tilt it off and not completely lose contact and like kind of shade it. I don't remember to this day if she was teaching me that in the context of always play it like this, or this is a tool to have in your bag, like for when you need it. I'm thinking it was probably the latter. She's a very good player, and I don't think she would have like wanted me to shortcut everything. But my 13, 14-year-old brain decided, well, that sounds good, so let's just do that all the time. And it's this habit I've been in ever since, and I feel like when I'm practicing, I try to make myself pick the finger straight up, like really open that tone hole. But like it's not always successful. I get it, it pops out. And then in a performance, I'll probably half hole it just to make it sound nice. I don't know if you can hear that difference. I feel like I hear a big difference. As a teacher, I would teach my students to practice it properly, right? Pick the finger up, vent the hole completely. But it's like, is it really about habit? I guess it depends on your perspective. If you believe in always playing or practicing the instrument headed towards like the ideal, whatever that is, then yeah, I can see why you might consider that to be a bad habit. But if your mindset is get the job done with the best sound possible and the best execution possible, and half holing it makes that happen, then I guess do it. So I guess the way I meet in the middle is when I'm practicing, I try and vent the hole properly. But then in a performance, in a run through, I half hole it. And I remember when she taught me that, to me, it came across like the magic solution, right? But it's that whole thing, right? Like we are all different. We're all physically different. Our instruments are all different. So my advice to you, if you're practicing this, is practice it correctly. And then when it comes time to perform, play, do what you got to do. When I say half holing, I'm not really half holing. It's more like a 3/4 hole. I'm just tilting my finger instead of lifting it. So it's like I'm keeping the ring down and I'm exposing 80% of the tone hole. We try really hard in our music education to make it objective, right? But it's just not. And every situation is different. And I feel like if you're playing in an audition or a competition or whatever, and you half hole a note and it sounds amazing, like no one's gonna know or care. It's not gonna be on the judge's sheet. Sounded great, but you half hold. Same thing for the staccatos, going through to the end here. More space, less short. Like more about the separation, less about the attack. That's what I was trying to say earlier. I haven't said much about the accents he notated in this part. I think I said this in the last one, but I'm interpreting them more like a tenuto, or like underlining that note, like saying this note is important, and not so much like an accent, like not like it's a march or jazz or anything like that. So I think that's about all I have. I think I'm gonna play it again, and then I'll go back and do any final thoughts. I'm gonna give myself my tempo again. Okay, let's try it.